So court is scheduled to resume this morning, 10 Eastern time. Justice correspondent Candace Kelley joins us now. Good morning to you, Candace. The defense's use of force expert was the first witness to take the stand. How did he compare with the state's expert?
Well, like we've seen, Sharon, in so many other cases, it really comes down to the battle of the experts to give their testimony as to whether or not what Kim Potter did was right or wrong. The defendant's expert, he was very interesting. He was very precise. He was very clear. He made it clear that he had experience. And that was one of the differences between the defense expert and the state's expert. The defense expert had over 20 years of experience on the force. When we look at the state's experts, he had 5 years of experience, except it was 15 years ago. He was more of an academic. In addition, the state's expert was paid, and that makes a very big difference in terms of how they're perceived in the minds of the jurors. But when it comes to the defense expert, he has said that all along his journey in terms of testifying as an expert witness, he has never taken any money. And that really does bode well, once again, in terms of whether or not he's telling the truth or whether or not he's being paid to actually say something that he doesn't necessarily want to say. So I think when it comes to the experts, once again, the defense, and I've been talking about this since the beginning of the trial, another good day for the defense when it comes to the experts that testified during this trial.
Yeah, different case, different evidence, same players, some of them on the prosecution side, but it does seem to be such a different case than what we saw in the Derek Chauvin trial, Candace. The former police chief, Tim Gannon, stepped down because he wouldn't say what Kim Potter did was wrong immediately, wouldn't fire her right away. So how do you believe the jury read that?
So Tim Gannon, like you said, he stepped down. He decided that what Kim Potter did right from the beginning was correct. He is the one actually who showed the public at a press conference this recording, and he thought that he was going to justify his position that Kim Potter, what she did was okay. It was justifiable defense and a justifiable shooting. But then, as we know, a lot of protests kind of sparked. In addition to that, he got death threats. He felt that he was not safe and he was encouraged to resign, which he did. Now, we heard a lot of character witnesses yesterday, and that's what this day was all about, leading up to her potential testimony today. With him being a character witness, he was a strong one. But with the same token, the jury could look at him as someone who was a friend of Kim Potter, which on the stand, he admitted he's a friend of Kim Potter. In addition to that, he said that he felt sorry for her at the time of the shooting and that he feels sorry for her now. So a lot of politics involved in terms of just his trajectory into his now retirement. But we know this, that he said that he wanted to make sure that she got due process before firing her. However, for him to go in front of the public and just kind of have the trial in his own right and say that she was innocent, well, then in that case, Daunte Wright didn't get due process. And I think that this was really a big point of concern, which is why he was encouraged to resign, which he ultimately did, Sharon.
Yeah, it does seem that, this is exactly what people are marching, regardless of what you think about this particular incident, this trial. Again, black man gunned down, justifiably so. So many in uniform immediately began saying, and if I'm not mistaken, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Candace, I believe they continue to protect the Brooklyn Center Police, Kim Potter's home, long after her resignation. I wonder how the state can counteract several of these seemingly favorable police officers who testified that the shooting or the tasing was justified.
Listen, what the state is going to have to do is they're going to have to get through the guidelines and procedures like they did last week, go over that once again, especially nailing it home in their closing argument and nailing it when they cross-examine Kim Potter. What's going to be key here is, as we saw, there was a long day, very long day. In fact, it was so long that the judge decided, why don't I give the jurors a break, get up and stretch, because there were so many details going over the book, the procedures, the guidelines, when to use a taser, when not to use a taser. And all of that is going to be very effective for the state because there were many things in that guideline and those rules of procedure that pointed to this idea that Kim Potter should not have shot. I mean, number one, Sharon, she was in a situation where she could have potentially created collateral damage, as the procedure said, and she did. As we know, the car went off and it hit somebody else. So those are the things that the state is going to have to hone in on and make sure that they get back that procedures that she was tested on just a month before, but didn't follow them.
Yeah, she could have also killed or harmed or killed her fellow officers, including also the passenger who was inside the vehicle. Help me understand something when Kim Potter takes the stand here. How can she counteract this defense narrative? At least they're interjecting it so far during the prosecution's case that, oh, I didn't mean to kill him. It was a mistake. I thought I had the taser non-lethal force to, but then again, I had a right to kill him with the gun.
So her defense is, once again, it was a mistake. I'm very sorry. And she's going to go through that recording just point by point. Her defense attorney is going to take her to as to how she felt at the time. But it's going to be very difficult to counter, because one thing that we shouldn't get convoluted here, we need to decide whether or not Kim Potter is guilty of negligence or recklessness. Well, there's one party who agreed that she was negligent or reckless to begin with, and that's Kim Potter herself. We have her on the recording said, oh my goodness, I can't believe I did this. I can't believe, I was supposed to use my taser, but I used the gun instead. That is on the recording. So in terms of negligence or recklessness, it's right there. I don't see how she can overcome that. Now, she's probably going to make a very good witness, Kim. She seems to be a very kind, emotional woman, likable, perhaps, as people have said in terms of testifying about her character. I am certain that she will cry on the stand. All of this does bode well for her defense, for the jury to see that it was perhaps a mistake and that she is very remorseful. We know that remorse goes a long way. She will probably be on the stand all day today, going point by point, just kind of stopping that recording to figure out what was going on in your head. But as we know, she's going to say, simple mistake. We'll see how it turns out.
All right, we're going to see, as I said, a much different case than the Chauvin trial, which, of course, you watch for us cover to cover. Thank you so much. Candace Kelley, our Justice correspondent. We'll check back with you.